Hi everybody, welcome back, or welcome if you are new. In today's video we are setting up my June 2023 budget, and I'm using stickers that I created myself. So here's a look of what they look like. The reason why I'm using stickers that I created are basically because I'm trying to save money, so I wanted to create a sticker kit that I will use pretty much every single sticker from, and I'm not wasting paper by printing out stickers and cutting them and all of that when I'm not going to use them. So that is why I created my own sticker kits. These are not available for sale anywhere around. So if you're looking for them, they're not available anywhere around. I'm just going to first start off with decorating the month. I use the month as my expense tracker, and I use stickers that, expense tracker stickers that I created and have color coded based on what, sorry, brain power can only do two things or one thing at a time. So this is a look of what May looked like with the expense trackers, and these are, if it will focus, there we go, the categories and the colors that I have available for me to use when I am tracking my expenses and how I kind of track my categories. So May was the first month that I created stickers for myself on doing the budget stuff, so I wanted to test it out. I corrected some mistakes that I made, and hopefully I don't find any more, but I think I may have misspelled a word here and there, and I have to figure out which words were misspelled. So yes, Jack. What? Okay. Sticker sheet number 1 is empty. So we're gonna flip on over, and I'm gonna tilt so that way I can line up the stickers a little bit better. For those of you that are new, I have been working on my budget really and truly since 2016, when I finally figured out how much debt I was in, and that was when I actually sat down and added up all the debt and put it in one category and not just put the minimum payments as monthly expenses. I actually separated and figured out that I was $62,000 in debt. Jack. Sorry, sweetie. $62,000 in debt, and I needed to figure out how to pay my, limited income, how to pay all of that back. And when you actually sit down between car loan, student loans, the majority of it were student loans at that time, and a few credit cards here and there, when you put it together and you're like, I owe other people $62,000. That has been that was a life-changing moment for me to realize that, oh crap, this isn't just free money that you can get from credit cards and loans and doing all of that, you actually have to pay people back. It's like I took all the classes when doing my student loans that I am going to have to pay them back. But the credit cards are my downfall. I try not to use them unless it's absolutely necessary. I've gotten better over the years, but I'm still not the best. So, but this is all based off of a single income, my income, and a single person, no kids. I own my house outright. I don't own a mortgage or anything like that. I just recently bought the house from my mom in December of 2022. So she and I had a rent to own type of agreement. So once I met all of the amount that we agreed on when we signed the agreement in 2008, that so she signed over the house, and you know, it's mine. I already got the tax appraisal on the house, not how much taxes, but the appraisal of the house. And I already have asked for people to fight the appraisal because it was quite high, higher than I thought it would be. And it actually shocked a lot of people around the county as well when their property taxes went skyrocketing. Okay. And none of these are straight. So in previous years, this is when I first started doing budgeting and living on my own. I basically just had a little notebook and I wrote down each month and said, okay, this is how much is owed for electric, all of this. It wasn't as detailed as this, and it really and truly helped me to actually sit down and go into this much detail on my expenses and variable expenses, fixed expenses, debts, savings, all of this type of stuff to help me get out of debt one time. I'm back in debt again. It happens. I am working on paying off the credit cards, and the other one is the equipment for the home security system in my house. So I'm slowly working to get those paid off. And later in this video, we will talk about the debts in more detail, but I have already paid off the $62,000, but now I'm in debt again, where I had a new car note, and then once that happened, I was like, oh, let's just put everything on credit cards, and then one little credit card happy. So I'm trying to rein myself back in. I still if you've watched any of the more recent videos, I'm still struggling with staying off of Amazon, and we'll talk about that here on how I plan to do that in June. So I am going to go through and write down all of the variable expenses and fixed expenses and finish filling this out, and I will be right back. Okay, there we have everything filled out. This, I'm not sharing my income. I do share with you any additional income that I get that could be transfers from my sinking fund accounts into my checking account. And I also share any other additional income. Like in May, I was paid to work the elections, so I and consider that additional income. Anything that I get business related, I also add as additional income as well. And then as I'm going through, I will block off what my day job pay is, and then I'll show you if I've gained any or if it was less than normal or something like that. So I do have a budgeted amount that it's $100 or some, it's $100, $200 less than my actual pay. And that's because I like to keep it at a set amount. And then any of that extra that is, it's planned, but not really, because I don't budget for it, I would put towards savings or right now to debt payments. So, or right now it's been going to extra spending on Amazon. So this is what I have planned to do. Now, as far as some of the variable expenses that are coming up, I have been toying with starting up my cash envelopes again. And if I did do cash envelopes, and I was looking for a highlighter, I found one. As far as cash envelopes would go, I would do crafts, entertainment, household, personal care, restaurants. yeah. And some people would say, well, groceries should be on there. And for me, I am okay with that because I don't tend to overspend on groceries. I tend to overspend on crafts and entertainment. Those are kind of ones that I'd like to have the cash envelopes and put that aside every single month. And when I need to go buy planners, or if I'm going to buy a concert ticket or something like that, I will have those available in cash and not have to worry about it. Household expenses I overspend on every single month. Personal care, I tend to stay under, but there are moments where I go over. And then restaurants, I definitely overspend on those. So the other areas are pretty much bills, and fuel and auto. I at one point did do cash on those, but I pretty much have figured out it's about a tank of gas a month, and then every other month or so I will have where I have to pay the toll road. So I really don't currently hit the $100 mark every single month. I come close every other month, but most of the time I'm not in that unless I'm doing a whole lot of driving, and then I would bump it up or do something like that. I did have to update how much I'm paying towards cell phone. I actually need to update the transfer to my mom. She and I share a cell phone plan to keep the bill low for both of us, lower than normal. So I do need to up how much I'm transferring over, so she's not having to pull like $3 or $4 out of pocket to cover my side of it. And my minimum payment to the credit card, business credit card, is lower this month. I will still do the self-imposed $195 minimum payment, so I at least am paying more than the minimum payment. I want to pay more towards the minimum payment than just the extra $20 that would be going to that. But we just have to see. I am going on vacation in June, so I don't want to, limit myself on spending, but I also want to be conscious of what I'm spending on. So the stuff in highlight is what I would think about doing as cash envelopes. The other ones I would just have as regular coming out of my checking account as it is. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to setting up the weekly check-ins. And I will speed through this fairly quickly. There we go with starting off the check-in. The 4 categories that I always track with the weekly check-ins, like the ones that I'm hyper-focused on, are groceries, household, restaurants, and miscellaneous. I'm hoping to not have a lot of these charges. I will be gone for 1 week during the year, but I will be on a cruise, so there might be miscellaneous expenses that are buying things on the boat or things like that might happen. But hopefully we can stay kind of in budget this month and not just go crazy. And moving on into the transaction log and the sinking fund. So this transaction log is the transaction log for tracking any of the stuff that I pull out for sinking fund from the sinking funds. So there's not much to it. I don't fill this out unless I do end up pulling anything out from my sinking funds. So there we go. And I'm just going to add some lines on here as well. Hopefully get them as straight as possible. Okay, and basically all I do is add the date, the description, if it's a store or something I bought or something like that, whatever category I'm pulling out of the sinking fund, and the amount. And then once I actually do a transfer, I will add a little check mark off to the side to let me know that I have actually done the transfer from the sinking funds to my checking account. This is the sinking fund side, and I'm going to go ahead and fill it out, and I will be right back to discuss the sinking funds. Okay, here are my sinking funds. Since we're not done with the end of the month and I have to wait till the 31st for interest to actually hit the accounts and everything. So I am not going to list out the starting balances on any of those. The only one that I know is a zero, pretty much as medical, because I've pulled everything out to be able to pay a medical bill that is due in June, and that was to have some basically dermatologist type stuff. So had something removed and testing and all of that so that they could figure out what it was basically. But my sinking funds, I have a car account that has inspection and registration, insurance, and maintenance. I pay my insurance every 6 months, so having me squirrel away the money is better for me. And also maintenance, that is maintenance / saving up for a new car, because at some point I'm gonna have to get a new car. I don't plan on that being for a couple, 10 years maybe. I have a 2020, so it's working perfectly fine, minus a few things. I need to take it to the shop to have them look at it, which might have to have some maintenance work done on it. And hopefully I don't have to pay anything for it, but I have a fund there in case I do. Like I did earlier this year when a possum climbed up into my engine and required me to replace my drive belt, which was $400. It was a pain because it happened, but I had the money, so it wasn't too much of a pain. So it was just an inconvenience of when it happened, because it happened after an ice storm and parts were delayed, so it was an inconvenience at that point. Clothing, I save money for clothing, so it kind of helps when I kind of go into the splurges to buy a lot of clothes, because I just get into those. But usually it's not enough to cover what I'm actually buying, but it is there. Eventually I plan to increase that, but I have to pay off debt first. Gifts, this is anything for Christmas, birthdays. I just put money aside every year, so that way when it's time to pay for birthday presents or Christmas presents, I have the money and I don't have to worry about it. And I can figure out saying, okay, I have $300 in my gifts account. How much do I give to my sisters? How much do I, how much can I spend on birthdays and Christmas for my mom and my 2 sisters? Household is different than the other household. This is more like saving up to do not really repairs to the house, but decorations to the house. So if I need to buy new curtains or paint or do something like that, that's what that household fund is for. It is currently being used to save up money for me to do my guest or hall bathroom refresh that I plan to do and film and take you guys along with me as I rip out the carpet and just try to give the room a refresh as well. Medical, that is for any copays or any surgeries or anything like that I have to pay. I emptied it out. It had $239 in there. I emptied that out in May, like I said, to cover a medical bill that is due in June. Subscriptions, these are my yearly subscriptions, so I definitely have Amazon and Viki, which is the platform I use to watch my Korean TV shows on. The majority of them. I do watch some on Netflix, but the majority are on Viki. Then I have other. It was for Audible, but I canceled the Audible subscription and I just kept the money there. Or I keep putting money there because I have random yearly subscriptions that I forget about. So I at least have some money saved away to kind of help when those pop up. Summer bills is the sinking fund that I created to help me pay my higher summer bills that come in during the summer. So in the winter time, I work where not really winter time, I do this year round, but basically I take my electric, water, and natural gas bills. I take the budgeted amount minus the actual amount, and if the the total at the end is a positive number, I will take that number and throw it into my summer bills sinking fund. If it's a negative, that means that my actual bills are over the budgeted amount. So that is an inclination, or not inclination. It tells me basically that, oh, you're over this month. Do you want to go ahead and maybe pull something out of your summer bills? And in June, I may actually have to do that because I'm just waiting for the bills to come in, and May is the first month that we're really using the AC pretty much every single day. We are up in the higher 80s and in the 90s pretty much all of May so far. So I'm waiting for the bills to come in. May, definitely the bills, I was over $40, but my water bill was really high from power washing. So it's kind of your taxes. That is for me to put away for when I am doing my taxes every year and being able to actually pay the service that I use to do my taxes for me. Trash, my trash I pay quarterly, so just so that I have the money and I don't have to forget it. I don't forget about it. I squirrel away trash because that was one of those that when I was living paycheck to paycheck, I forgot that I had a quarterly trash payment that was due. So I've maintained that. So I'm at that point where I may not need to do that, but I like having the money there so that way I don't have to think, oh, this month I have $80, $90 that I have to pay towards trash. It's here, I have it, I don't have to think about it. Vacation, that's self-explanatory right there. Saving away for vacation. I used pretty much all of my vacation money this year because I am going on a cruise in June. So I have a little bit of money saved up right now in vacation, and that will be, I will use that here in June. So that I will pull from that before listing it as miscellaneous when I come to do my budgets. Vet, I have I say 4 cats because that's what it's been for so long. I have 3 inside cats, and I have to take them to the vet. I mean, one of them is on prescription medicines now. He is allergic to something, and I have to give him steroids. So he's not allergic. His ears are not breaking out in whatever they broke out in. So, yeah, that happened. So I've actually had to use my vet fund earlier this year as well, depleted it as well because I had to take him to the vet. So, and also earlier in the year, my oldest cat passed away, so we had vet bills because of that as well. The emergency vet and then the actual regular vet, and paying for the ashes and all of that type of stuff. So having a fund there has helped when it comes to taking them in for their yearly visits or these random, oh my God, they're sick moments. And I have the money to cover it and figure it out. House, because I own the house and I don't pay rent or mortgage, I am basically right now paying myself my rent and mortgage. So I am paying, I forget how much it is, $750 every single month that I pay myself. And that is going to taxes, to the homeowners association and the trails association in my area, the house insurance, and then whatever's remaining from that $750 goes into maintenance. And right now it's not very much going into maintenance. It's $20 every month. Not a lot, but I'm hoping that my taxes, the homestead of my house will go through. They said that they've reviewed my application finally, and hopefully we can get towards the end of the year, hopefully the amount will be that I owe is not as much as I was basing my budgeted amount on. My budgeted amount was based on my mom's taxes, on what she owed for the taxes, and she did not have the house homesteaded here in Texas. So the taxes were much higher, and hopefully with me homesteading the house, it will cut the taxes down because this is my homestead. This is my house. So, but that's how the sinking funds work. These are the accounts I squirrel away money, so that way when the rainy day happens, then something falls apart or something happens, I have the money. I don't have to stress about it. It has made my life a lot easier to have these contingency plans, rainy day funds, sinking funds, whatever you want to call them. That's what they are. So I will come back later in the video once the end of the month is around and actually fill these in. Okay, moving on into savings tracker and debt tracker, and I'm just basically gonna put the stickers down on these because again, it's not the end of the month, so I don't have final figures. And yeah, so I'll be back once the month is over and film this part of me filling out this section. Savings tracker, I will share with you guys the emergency fund and the money market. Those are the emergency fund. That is, if I lose my job and I need to pay my bills, I'm able to live my life the way that I am currently living without cutting anything back for 2 months, almost 3 months. Almost 3 months. I'm working to have it where it's 6 months in case, because it's just better to have that, you know, just have it. Money market is my emergency fund to my emergency fund, and I've had to actually use stuff from the money market this year to pay for a lot of things, unfortunately. So I have depleted what was 10,000 is now down to 3,000 something, and I will have to use it again at the end of May because I need to pay some dental work that needs to be done, and my insurance will not cover it because it's been 4 years since I had a crown done, and they won't cover the crown until the 5th year. So I have to have crown work done again. So I am having to pay that out of pocket. And 401k, I have 2 401ks. One is from my current job, one is from a previous job that I am trying to transfer over into an IRA. However, the company is going through a merger transition or whatever it is, so it's just taking a little bit of time. Funds are these, lack of a better term, funds that I've basically not really inherited from my grandmother, but kind of sort of. They were hers. When she passed away, they went to my mom. My mom has since basically gifted them to my sisters and me, so they are retirement, basically. And for lack of a better term for what they are, I call them funds. But they are based off the stock market and all of that type of stuff. So I don't really look at them too much because I have a financial advisor who is looking at all of that and giving me advice on what needs to be done. So I pretty much leave the 401k and the 401ks and the funds to their own devices and not have to think about it because I don't understand the stock market. I don't understand it. That's too much for me to figure out. As far as debt goes, I do list out the other 2 credit cards that I have in case I ever put anything on the credit cards. That way, if something carries over, I see it here as well and count it as debt. But currently, credit card 1 and 2 are paid off, so there is nothing, I don't owe any debt on that. Business credit card and the home security loan, I'm still waiting. I think I could put numbers here. Actually, I can put numbers here because everything is done already. So for debts, for right now, May 27th, I have $8,502.95. I'm halfway tempted, now that I've written this out, I'm halfway tempted, since there's still some days in the month, to pay $2.96 to the business credit card to have it go down to where it would be $84.9999. I'm halfway tempted to do that. And just because it's only $2.96 to get it down below the 8,500 mark to show that, you know, I have made some progress. So I very much, when I come back to fill in this section, you may actually see me redoing this section right here, because seeing that, I'm like, oh, I might want to pay more. Anyways, I've written down the minimum payments here as well. So $174.28 and $62.25. The business credit card I'm trying to pay off first because it does have interest applied to it. The home security loan is just a loan for the equipment. There's no interest. So it is my least concern, even though it's only, you know, under $2,000. It's zero interest. It's not whatever I pay to it is going down. So I'd rather put all of my focus on paying extra to the business credit card to get that gone as well. My goal is by the end of the year, 2023, to have the $8,500 paid off. I don't know if that's going to happen because I've been spending the past couple months and I need to really, like I say, pull back on everything and not spend the money that I have been spending. So I'm going to go ahead and also I'm going to do this off camera, but it's business budget. You guys don't really need that. I'm losing money from YouTube and my editing business because I currently hardly make any income off of anything right now. I definitely don't get any income off of YouTube because I don't have enough subscribers or watch hours or any of that to get anything funded. So I will be back here in the next couple days once the end of the month is over, and I will fill in all of the sinking fund, ooh, that's so nasally, sinking fund information and the savings and debt information, well, savings information, so that way you can see what's going on. But I really am truly going to be going and paying the $296 to the credit card just to get it over and done with and get below the $8,500 mark on my. So it didn't want me to pay less than $5, so I just went ahead and paid $5 to that, and I'm now down below the $8,500 mark, which makes me happy. It makes me happy to see that. So I am going to end the month feeling a lot better about, at least May, feeling better about what I've paid towards debt and everything. So I will be back in a few days. It will be just a few seconds for you to fill in the rest of this. We're going to start off over here with the sinking funds and just put the starting balances that I have. Here are the sinking funds for the beginning of the month. That's where we are standing with the sinking funds. Savings tracker. I'm only going to share with you guys the emergency fund and the money market, or the emergency fund to the emergency fund. So we're starting off this month with and 308,137. Moving on into debt, I updated some numbers down here, I think. 75. Okay, I do plan to do the minimum payments, so we are good right here. The only thing that has changed is I did have an outstanding balance at the dentist, and it was 30. Un momento. $35.70. 37.50. Oh, good Lord. Yeah, $37.50. Okay. So I had an outstanding balance of $37.50. As soon as I get off from filming this, I'm going to go and actually pay that $37.50. I had already pulled out the credit card thinking it was going to be also with the crown, so the $800 and all of that, but she didn't charge me that, so it was just the outstanding balance and that. So I'm like, okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and pay for it. I have the money for that. I don't have to do any transfers or anything. So everything else stays the same. So I will be paying this back. And then when I do have the crown replaced in a couple weeks, I will put that on the credit card as well and do some transfers from the money market and do all of that and hopefully have the card paid off by the end of the month. But my goal is to put a lot more money towards the business credit card than I have been putting in the past. I'm trying to cut back on my spending this month. Some of the things that are happening. The crown is getting replaced in a couple weeks. $800 right there. when I go on my cruise, I'm flying to Florida, and that's where the cruise is embarking from. So flying to Florida, so I'm going to have to pay for checked bags and then any miscellaneous. I always get a bottle of water when I'm in the airport and some snacky food. Just that's the way I travel. So I know I can take some food in through TSA, but I'm just for me, it's like it's always been since I was a child. It's bottle of water, soda, coffee, something like that, depending on where I'm at, and then just some food, some snack food to snack on while I'm on the plane. So there's going to be that. Staying at a hotel, so the night before the cruise embarking, like checking in at the cruise and everything. So there's going to be eating out as well on that, and then whatever happens on the cruise. And then, let's see, I also have kind of like an emergency podiatrist appointment. Walking on this thing for 2 years, it's now become an emergency. So I have that. That's going to be the copay. I have to get an MRI done of the ankle. I need to reschedule a second mammogram because they need to have another look-see at what's going on. And then I'm trying to think. Who knows what's going to happen when I go to the podiatrist on what they're gonna, if I'm gonna have to get a boot, if I'm gonna have to have a splint, if I'm gonna have to do surgery. I don't know. I'm not going to worry about, I'm not rescheduling the second mammogram until I'm back from my vacation. I'm not worrying about the podiatrist appointment. I'm just going to take it as it is. And if they want surgery, it's like, okay, get my foot stabilized because I'm going on my cruise. I'm not going to be laid out. It's bad enough if I'm going to have to wear a boot or something like that, but get it stabilized enough to where I can go on my cruise, and then we'll schedule all of that when I'm back, because so, and right now I currently do not know where that money is going to come from. I may have to go on a credit card, and I'm not looking forward to that. So I may have to pull from my emergency funds. I don't know what's going to happen. So I'm just trying not to think bad things. I'm just going to say we're going to be in a boot, and that's going to be it. And fingers crossed, it's not any more than that. I am trying to save up for doing my guest bathroom or hall bathroom refresh, and I wanted to do that when I came back from the cruise, but it all depends on what's happening with my foot. So if that's going on, I may not want to be painting and doing all of that stuff for a week or two. So that project may be put off until a later date. Just depends on what's going on. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's going on. I may need to get Sam prescription steroids because his ears keep breaking out. So I'm already giving him prescription steroids, but I am probably going to have to get a words. You can tell I don't. When you already have a prescription, it's not, is it renewing a prescription or refilling a prescription? Oh my God, that's not even a big word. Yeah, I may have to do that before I go on vacation, because I don't know if I have enough days to get through without my mom having to, yeah, so anyways, so I'm really going to try to do a no spend June to a limit. Like if it's for vacation, I'm not going to consider that in my no spending. So I'm going to try to be a little conscious of what I'm spending while I'm on vacation, but it's also vacation and I want to have fun. So I don't want to have the burden of saying, I don't have enough money for that. But I want to enjoy it. And I did in May, if you watch my May check-in on this last Friday, I'll leave a card. I bought Wi-Fi for when I'm on the cruise. And I also bought one excursion to go out, and it's a bus tour of one of the cities that we're going to, or one of the islands that we're going to. And I want to do that. I wanted to do the walking tour, but if I'm in a boot, it would be best to just do the bus. There will be limited walking, and I'm okay with doing that, but doing a full like 2 hours of walking and around in a boot is not ideal. So I in the Bahamas, so in the summertime. So I my friend and I opted to do the bus tour, and then we'll end up at a rum cake factory. So looking forward, we're both looking forward to that one. So I'm planning to buy a couple rum cakes to bring home, maybe, if we can keep them safe somehow. I have to figure out how to take an insulated bag, but how can I get through that through TSA? Oh, goodness gracious. Anyways, so so when it comes to the no spend for this month, if it's anything that's debt related, anything extra that I plan to pay towards debt, any bills, and anything that is vacation related, like while I'm on vacation, the checked bag fee, stuff at the airport, any meals that I have, I'm not going to consider that in my no spend. Those will be no spend days for me. I am more going to be tracking what I spend on Amazon, what I spend at Chewy, what I spend at the grocery stores. So I really do think, and honestly, because I keep thinking, I'm going to take the cash out to pay for the groceries, but I have already meal planned pretty much for the month, because if I'm going to be in a boot, I am not going to want to cook. So yesterday after the dentist, after I went to the grocery store, and after I took a nap after the dentist, I woke up and I cooked a bunch of soups and a bunch of stuff that would be kind of on the mushy side. So that way, with the crown and everything, the boot, I will have everything pre-cooked out in the freezer. So I just have to go and grab one item and bring it in and microwave it, and I'm okay with that. And they are soups, so they're healthier meals. So really and truly, groceries should only be like going to get milk, eggs, bread. If I have a sweet tooth in there, something small that's sweet related, but I'm hoping to be able to make cookies or Jello. I have Jello that's sitting in the fridge, not fridge, but in the pantry that I need to eat as well. So applesauces, that type of stuff. So hi. So I really do think that if it's not for June with the cash envelopes, definitely for July, I'm going to do cash envelopes for groceries, household, restaurants, personal care, crafts, and entertainment. That way I'm really holding on to that. And the crafts and the entertainment, I'm basically going to put those into envelopes, and because I don't use them very often, I'd like to, and when I actually do buy planners or craft related stuff, it usually is a big bill and it's more than the $50, but if I put that aside every single month, got cats wanting to play. So if I put that aside, then those bills are not that bad. So it's like I can, every year, if I put away $50 every month, that's a lot of money. $600. That's a lot of craft stuff that I can buy. And entertainment, same thing, $600. That is a concert ticket. So, in all honesty, lately it's been the price of concert tickets. So, but yes, so if not in June with the cash envelopes, definitely in July I will be starting up with cash envelopes and getting that ready and going. I will assess that later in the month after my vacation and all of that, but I really need to get a handle of my spending. And the one thing that I'm going to do on my phone for this month is I am going to remove the Amazon app off of my phone, off of my iPad. And that makes me have to come into the office and look at my computer to see if I want to actually buy anything from Amazon. Right now, I don't plan to buy anything from Amazon. I have no needs or anything. The only things that I would be if I saved up enough money to pay for the hall bathroom refresh. And depending on how much money I save with the refresh stuff, all depends on how much I save and if I'm in a boot. So we're gonna be playing with the budget. You know, budgets are supposed to be fluid and working with you with what's happening with your life. And I'm at that point where halfway through the year, it's time to maybe adjust some things here and there. So June is really gonna be that month that I kind of like figure out what I'm adjusting a little bit. I hope that everybody enjoyed this budget setup and a little like talking to the camera a little bit, because normally I just kind of go through the stuff, but I wanted to share with you guys what is going on, some things that I'm trying to do for June, and some of the like, it's not really step backs, but it's kind of like not impending, that's a bad word. I don't know. The things that are going to be happening this month that are going to eat up some money. So medical stuff is definitely going to eat up money. It has been eating up money, but it depends all on my podiatrist appointment next week. And when you see this video, I will have already been. And if I haven't completely edited the video, I will of course share with you guys what happened, and like a little blurb at the bottom of what happened. But if not, I will be back for another check-in. So I hope that you guys will join me for any of my budgeting videos on Fridays, any of my cleaning weekend reset videos on Sunday, and any of my miscellaneous videos like this one on Wednesdays. So thank you everybody, and make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell if you haven't already. Bye everybody, have a wonderful week.